Okay, I'm Gavin from Spitfire Engineering and welcome back to episode 8. Now this week, I'm doing something I said I'd not continue to do or not do again. And that's put my overalls on and go and help out in the workshop. Now, I used to work in the workshop. I'm now office based, but we've got so much work on at the minute and we've got people off on holiday. I've had to put my overalls on and get back in the workshop. So let's make a start. So it is Monday morning and I am in the yard. I've got my overalls on this morning because we've got some tight deadlines that we've got to meet and we just need to make sure we stay on schedule. So today's project is to get one of the conveyors for France built up and fitted together for its first dry fit. So we've got the legs on. Let me flip this round and I'll show you what we're doing. So we've got the legs on this now. This is the height it's going to be. That is about 3.5, 4 meters, I think, from memory, that is. So if you remember in previous episodes, we've made these subframes, which look like a log flume, as somebody said this morning. So we've got this subframe and the conveyor panels that Rob was making the other day and Archie folded. They're now starting to be assembled. So we've got more conveyor panels here. So we've now got the subframe up in position and we're now attaching these side panels on here. So what we'll do is we'll do what's called a dry fit. We'll put them on here. We're going to have to drill some holes along the bottom. So once we've got all this assembled, we can mark and drill some holes. We've got a couple of curved pieces, one here and one at the top, just there, that we've got to put in. So what we'll do is we will assemble it all, make sure it all fits nice. Any problems that we've got, because there's a lot going on here, there's a lot of different sections being cut to create this curve here. Don't know if you can see that, but this channel has been cut into multiple pieces and welded together, so we could have a potential discrepancy there, the same as at the top. So by doing a dry fit we can work out whether we've got everything right. What you don't want to do is at this point just get everything painted, assemble it and realise something's missing. We've got a few tricks up our sleeve. If it doesn't match up we can put packer plates in and we can do all sorts. But we'd rather find out at this stage before we get it painted so we can iron out the problems, get it painted and it's easy to assemble afterwards. So we're going to put these sections in here now and I'm going to set the GoPro up so you can see how it all goes together. So we've had a kerfuffle. We've started putting these together and the cross braces inside don't actually line up with the holes. If you look, the bottom two holes, they line up, but the top one is 10mm out. Now these plates weld onto the end of these cross braces here, and then they go between the two side panels here, which Dan's bolting in now, and because that hose is not lining up, that's not going to line up. So what we're going to have to do is cut those plates off, cut new plates and weld them on the end. Now luckily we've only put together 3 of these cross braces because Dan was making them up as we were assembling it. So luckily we've just got to cut 3 off, but we've got to cut a load of new plates and weld them on. So it's a right kerfuffle this morning, but it's showing you guys the good, the bad and the ugly. Stuff sometimes goes wrong and this is why we do the dry fit. I can only assume when George's drew it, that should be 50mm top to bottom and on the plates it's 60mm, so it's probably a slip of the finger on the keyboard. But nothing we can't get round. We'll soon whip them off, well, get some new plates cut, welded on and we'll just crack on with the job. So what we're going to do now is just put it together, just using 2 of the bolt holes, just so we can get this together, and then we'll get the plates cut, and then we'll get him swapped out and get him changed, and everything will be golden. Okay, so let's give you a little sit rep of where we've got to today with this conveyor. I'll just flip the camera around and I'll talk you through what we've done. So we've got all the side panels now assembled onto the subframe. So we're going all the way up there. And that's the discharge point up there. So we've got all of them on now. And we've started to do the greedy boards on the side. So we've got these pieces here, which are a folded piece. Just show you the end profile from the end. So you can see that profile there, because the belt that's going on here is a belt that we're having made specially for this conveyor, and running in here is going to be what's called a flexible sidewall, which when the belt turns up, I'll have to show you that. It's a bit of a job to explain. Basically, it's a flexible sidewall. So the material will obviously be in the middle here, and we've got a flexible sidewall that fits in here, so the material can't get up and over the top. It keeps all the material in the middle of the conveyor. Now these conveyors, there's 2 this size and 2 smaller ones. These are going to be used for conveying titanium chippings, titanium swarf out of a machine. It's as much as I know, because it's all a little bit top secret. So that's what it's for. In the middle of the belt there'll be some straight cleats, and that's what will lift it up. The angle, well, the incline coming up here, and then on the bottom of the incline we've got these pieces here which have just been formed and tack welded in, and that's what will take the belt from being flat up to the incline. So that piece there, that piece started as a flat piece. You can just about see the marks in it where we've bumped it around in the brake press. And it's actually quite a good fit up. So that's what we want. And it's nice even curve at the bottom of the side skirt as well. And these will continue all the way up the top. And we've also got another curved piece to put at the top there. But this conveyor will also have top covers on it as well, that will start, they'll start about here, top covers, so it'll all be covered in and go all the way to the top. And there's also some undercovers as well that are going to go on the underside, so that nobody can get their hand into any moving components. And they're going to have twist locks on them, so they can be removed for maintenance, but you'll need a special key to undo that. Now, something that has come to light on here, where the bearings are going to be on the rollers, We've asked our supplier for bearings that have a plastic cap over the rotating shaft, similar to what we're using on the mobile picking line, and it turns out they say they can't get hold of any. So if you're a bearing supplier watching this, we'd like to speak to you, because our current supplier says they are struggling to get hold of them, which I'm a little bit surprised about, to be honest, because they do crop up on all sorts of different machines. So we're working on that at the minute. If we can't get hold of any bearings that have a plastic cap over the rotating shaft to protect it from people getting caught in it, we'll have to come up with another plan. So watch this space. So it's Tuesday morning, we're back in the workshop, and today's job is to try and get this conveyor finished so we can get it off to paint. So what we're going to do is lower this down, because this is too tall to go on a lorry to be transported to France. So it's going on some transport legs, and it will look like a MW as it's in transport. So we're going to lower it down and put some temporary legs under it to start with, and then we will make the proper legs, have a measure, make the proper legs up, get them fitted. But when we've got it lowered down, we can finish off some of the top panels at the top. Let me just spin this round. So we've gone as far as we can up there from ground level. We could use the man basket. We have got a man basket for the forklift, just there next to it. But just to make life easier, we might as well just lower it down and finish off all the side panels at the top and get them done. So we need to get them done. There's a few other bits and bobs that we need to do. There's some captive nuts to weld beyond some of these holes down here for the bearings, and some other bits and bobs. But as soon as we get this down and start getting it finished, we can think about getting it stripped out and get it to paint. So the plan is to get this in a position where it's being stripped down around lunchtime today, so that we can start getting it painted and then on to the next one. So we've started taking it apart now. Some panels have already gone off to paint. It's all down, as you saw a minute ago in the time lapse. We're just finishing off the last few bits and bobs up here, and then this lot will all be going to paint as well. Let's just have a look and see what we're doing. So what are we doing then, Dan?
Okay, well, currently we are just trying to get it all ready for paint. So obviously last week we've been assembling it up, dry fitting, so we know it fits. And now we've got all the captive nuts in and get it back down to what it was and get it painted.
Cool. So what else have we got left to do on this before we can take it apart?
Weld the captive nuts on, clamp it all down, take all the marks with holes up ready for drilling, and then that's it.
Yeah. So we're nearly done on this. We're nearly done. So we're going to get this stripped down now, get these panels away to paint, and then we'll start on the next one. So we've got the legs on conveyor 2 now. Got it all sat on the floor ready to go. So we're going to do the dry fit of the panels on the side of this, and we're going to get the GoPro running so you can see how it all goes together on this one as well. workshop this morning. This first conveyor is now all stripped down. Some of the parts even got painted yesterday, which I'll show you in a minute. So we're just flip this camera and I'll show you what we're doing now. This conveyor is now stripped down. We're just putting the last holes in the top of the frame so the conveyor sections can bolt to it. We marked them while it was all on there together. So this frame now is going to be moved because we're not quite finished with this frame yet. Dan's just finishing cleaning up the side sections, which are now welded. So this is the top of the side section. Dan's just cleaning up the weld on here, linishing it all back, blending it all in nicely. And we've already done the other end. This is the small piece that I showed you earlier on. This is actually made out of, in effect, 4 bits. And it's all been put together, linished back so it looks like one piece. So I'm going to get that finished, we're going to get that cleaned up and get that to paint, and then this frame here is going to get moved over to here and sit here because we've still got some work to do on it. And then we're going to bring the next conveyor in and start fabricating the side panels and fitting them up, doing the dry fit on this one, on the other one. So that's what we're going to do now. So this is the other side section in paint. Other Dan, we've got 2 Dans, 2 Jamies. So you might have to keep up in these because it gets confusing for us guys. So I've just been working with a Dan, and we've got Dan in the paint booth. He's rubbing these down with thinners. We rub them down with thinners to get rid of any grease, any impurities, so it's a nice surface for the paint to stick to. We do use etch primer, which eats into the paint, as I've said before, and that we never have a problem with paint flaking off or anything like that. It does stick, but we make sure that it's prepped right, make sure the steel is clean, rub down with thinners, and we don't have a problem. So this is the colour the customer has asked for. It's a nice blue actually, I quite like it. So these are the panels that we stripped out yesterday. They've gone straight in the paint booth. Dan's painted them. We use a hardener in our paint so it goes off nice and hard fairly quickly. And these are just going to sit outside in the sun today just to finish off curing, and then hopefully these will get assembled next week, maybe the week after. Just having a look at the oil screen that's also in the workshop. Steph's been making these handrails here. So we've got the steps up to the platform at the top. Been making these handrails here. So that's all good now. And then before we can actually disassemble this and put it at a lower level that we can work on, there's one more piece to put in. And there is a chute coming in here. And it's a chute that's going to come from here, and it's going to come down here through these 2 posts here, and it's going to come and discharge around here somewhere. So there's a stainless chute that Connor's made. I'll just go and show you that in a minute. And there's a couple of funky looking beams that have got to go in here. They're going to be mounted to these plates here and go up to those plates at the top. You can see there on that post. So there's 2 beams coming down with a stainless chute between, so that's what they're working on now, because we need to get that in place before we can strip it down, because the chute is going to come lower than the joiner plate just here, that joiner plate there and just there. So we need to get it down to work on at the top, but we can't do that until this chute is in place. So that's what they're working on now, and as soon as they've done that, we can get this stripped out, get the bottom sections off to paint, and then we can continue work on the top. And then we've got handrails, walkways, and the 2 screen boxes to put on the top. And then that can all go to paint as well. So this is the stainless chute that we were just talking about a minute ago. Connor's made this up. It's all stainless because it's going to be food waste going down it. So it's got to be non-corrosion and clean,
So we use stainless in that application, customer specified stainless. This is actually upside down at the minute. If you can imagine, that's the hopper at the top. So that's going to go at the top. And then there's going to be two beams that bolt to these holes here, down the sides. So this will sit on them two beams that connect to them two mounting plates that I've just showed you. It will sit on top of them and hopefully should all match up nicely with the beams that we've done, because as I say, the beams are a funky profile. There's a lot of different angles involved to make it work, so we'll find out fairly soon if we've got it right. So we're now Thursday morning and this one is starting to take shape as well. Let me just spin the camera around, I'll show you what we're doing. So we've now got this on its transport legs. Those legs there and those legs there are just the transport legs. Because this is too tall to transport in its working position, we've had to do these transport legs. So these will go to France with these legs on, and then these legs will get took off and the proper legs put on, and then these legs are scrap. They're just there to get it over to site in France. So we've got all this built up now, and then we're just going to finish off this top piece here. It's got these last few bits to put on here, and then this one will be stripped down and sent to paint as well. The frames will go, and then we'll make a start on the two smaller ones, which the lads in the small workshop next door have already started. So hopefully we can rattle them together pretty quick as well. So yeah, this week's been a productive week. It's brought us back on schedule. The belt people are booked to come and fit belts to all 4 conveyors 2 weeks on Monday. So we need these finished, fabricated, finished, painted and assembled for 2 weeks on Monday. And I think after this week we're well on target to do that now. The ladies in the office today have decided we need team photos for the new website. If you've not seen our new website, you need to check it out. So this is the workshop gang here. Just get the camera to focus in. So just getting them to keep a straight face is a bit of a challenge. Who are we missing? Here's Stefan. Very expensive photo shoot. Spent a half hour moving stuff, just put the van here. So that was the team photos. As you know, we're a family business and we treat everybody as part of the family, so it's always nice to get them together, have a photo for the website, or if it's a Christmas party or anything like that. But it's a bit of a challenge to get everybody here. Some of the ladies in the office work part-time, so you can only do it certain times of the day. And then we've got Jam out on site. He's very rarely here, but his van's in for MOT this afternoon, so we thought we'd take the opportunity to do it. But then we've got one of the guys in the workshop off sick this week, so we still haven't managed to get everybody together. But never mind, maybe next time. So it is Friday morning, and we've nearly got everybody in this morning. We don't normally work on a Friday, but because we are busy at the minute, we're doing a Friday shift until lunchtime. So today, we've got the second conveyor all stripped down, panels have gone off for paint. The first subframe is now painted and sat outside. Just got to weld these side skirts up. I'll just show you these. So just got to weld these pieces up here now. There's some more welding to do on these. Angled sections. Just going to weld that plate in there. Now that plate in there is there because that's at the bottom of the incline, and the rollers are going to go through those 3 holes. So that's just been beefed up. So when the rollers bolt in, there's no flex in the side panel, just to strengthen it up. So they just need finish welding in there, then they can go to paint. And then weld the bottom up of these and linish them back like we did on the first one. And then that frame there, we're going to have the tops drilled to take the conveyor panels on the top. Holes have been marked, as you can see. Got holes there and some holes there, so they're going to be drilled with the mag drill, and then that can go off to paint as well. Other jobs that we've got going on in here, the steps have been taken apart on the screen frame, so they've now gone off for paint as well. This is the last set of steps here to be painted, and then they fitted up this stainless chute yesterday. So this stainless chute, as I said earlier on, goes in that gap there between them posts. It was a tight fit. I had to do a little bit of trimming to make it fit, but they did get it in there yesterday. Didn't actually manage to get that on film. They did it while I wasn't in the workshop. So that will fit in there, and now that we've done that, probably early next week, this will now be taken apart and the lower sections taken out. And then we can start working on the top. Steph's in the workshop next door. He's doing the handrails for the top of this, so he's making them up now. So when we get this lowered down, they can be fitted, and then we can start on the screen boxes and the framework around the screen boxes. And we'll get that put together hopefully next week, and then that will be that job nearly finished fabrication, and we can get that stripped down, painted. And then what we'll do when it's painted, we'll bring it all in, put it back together as painted as two sections, because it is going to be transported with the screen boxes and everything attached to the top, all the handrails attached to it. But we'll put the screen boxes in and just as loosely assemble the two top pieces together, so just butt them up against each other and stick some bolts in, and then we can get Sean, our electrician, in to come and do the control panel, which is going to sit over here. So the control panel for this is going to be here, and that control panel is what will control the two screens at the top. So we'll get Sean in, get it all wired up, we'll run them up in the workshop, make sure everything's okay, and then that can be stripped down and sent to site. Okay, so whilst Dan's finishing off the frame that we've already done, he's just finishing off the last few bits on there. He's drilled all the holes in the top for the side panels. He's now just welding on the lifting eyes and also the feet on the bottom and some other little bits and bobs. So whilst he's doing that, I've moved on to the next two conveyors, which are going to be smaller conveyors. Let me just flip the camera around and show you what I've been doing. So these are the legs now for the next two conveyors. The next conveyor is much smaller than the first two that we've done. These are the legs. So I've tacked all these together. Let me show you a drawing of what we're actually doing. So this is the drawing, this is what we're looking for, and that's what they're going to look like when they're finished. Dead simple job. So we've got these two pieces here, they're going to get welded here, and then these four plates here are going to get welded on the top, coming down, and they will be the legs that will bolt underneath, similar to this one here. So it's a very similar leg to this. Is what we're building, and you'll see these plates at the top that bolt through here, and then there's another bar that comes off here, and then these plates will get welded on here as well. So there's going to be 6 bolts either side, nice and secure, stay bar just to stop the leg from moving when it's in position. So I'm going to get them tacked up, and then we'll put them to one side, and then we'll get them welded up after. So that's them done, tacked up. So they're all tacked up now. When we say tack up, it means literally a tack of weld, a small piece of weld that just holds it together. It's not the full weld. It's like the foundations, really, I suppose, of the weld. The tack of the weld is literally that. It's just 2 tacks of weld, different places. You can see over there, there's some tacks of weld. And that literally just holds everything together. And now what we can do, we can fully weld that. I'm not going to weld this because I've not got an air-fed helmet on. We only do full welding with air-fed helmet because of the fumes that are given off when you're welding. It's not good for your health to breathe it in. So when we're welding properly, not other than tacking, we always use air-fed welding helmets. And what that is, if you look in our videos, our guys that wear them, it's basically a belt that you wear around your waist, which has got a filter and a fan in it, and it pulls clean air in and feeds it up to the mask so that you're breathing in as you're welding filtered clean air. So yeah, somebody else will get these welded up now and we'll make a start on the frame. So yeah, somebody else will weld these up now, and it's nearly packing up time for us here this week. So this will possibly be the end of the action for this week's video. So just having a look around the Eco Sorter this week, not much has happened on this week on this because we're still waiting for some components. The hopper was fitted because, as I said, we've got somebody coming in the last episode. I think I mentioned it. We've got a couple coming to have a look at this machine. They've got a waste company, not on the UK mainland. If it comes to anything, we'll tell you more about that as it happens. But they come and have a look at this. They've got 2 problems that they're looking at sorting. They need a picking line like this, but probably a shorter one than this, like a 2-man version, a single bay, to sort one particular product they've got. But they're also looking at whether they upgrade their entire plant, and they've already got trommels, in feeds, picking lines. So it might be they either have a shorter version of this or they go for a whole plant. So if any more comes of that, we'll keep you informed. Now on this week, one thing they have done is, can you remember that ram in there didn't line up? The ram's just there on the floor. Well, that's now been sorted. Those 2 bits in there have been cut off, re-welded in the right place, so that's all sorted now. Also, the saga on this continues with diesel, electric, diesel. The company in Scotland had ordered it, and then they thought, we probably ought to hire it for a few weeks just to make sure it is exactly what we wanted. So that went backwards and forwards this week, and now it is a confirmed order for electric. As I say, we thought it was going back to diesel at one point this week, but now it is a confirmed order for electric, and this one is going to go without the overband on it. As I said before, this isn't having the overband on it, so we've had a meeting this week to talk about, because obviously the overband was going to be here, so now we're going to put greedy boards all the way from the picking cabin all the way to the end, just straight greedy boards, so it doesn't have the overband on it. There's a few other little bits and bobs that we need to sort out as well, but that's all in hand. Like I say, we had a meeting this week to discuss what we need to finish this off, so hopefully in the next few weeks you'll see that coming together, and eventually we'll get it running and have a good test run on it, make sure everything's as it should be. Okay, so that's it for this episode. Thank you all for watching. We've gone just over 19,000 subscribers now, so thank you to everybody that's liked and subscribed. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe, comment. We like the comments, we like the feedback. Some of the comments are actually quite interesting, to be honest, so we like responding to them and we like the interaction. So we'll see you on the next episode. please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and please continue to comment. We love the comments, we like the feedback from everybody that watches, and we like reading them, we like responding to them, and everything to do with it, we love it. And that sounds shit.